guys, it's Ruby as usual. So I'm going to try and make it quick. Last week, you guys helped me make a decision on what I'm to discuss today, and most of you asked me to talk about forgiveness. So I'm here to talk about forgiveness, and I'm going to talk about it from two different perspectives: from the forgiven perspective and the forgiver. So I'm going to start with the forgiven, and that I'm going to start with myself as the forgiven. A couple of months ago, I reached out to an ex of mine to apologize for the way things ended. I knew it was my fault, and so I had to reach out to him to apologize. And he told me he had forgiven me. And it was a peaceful conversation, and I was very, very happy because for a while, if things were working out for me, I keep on thinking about how I treated him, and I'm like, are you sure it's not because of the way I treated him? You see, I wasn't free. I knew I was guilty, and yet I refused to do what was right. Now, I'm going to talk to someone now. If you are in that situation whereby your heart keeps on going back, or your mind keeps on going back to something that happened before as probably the reason why you are not moving or you're not progressing, please, you need to make peace with your past. It's very necessary. In Matthew 5 verse 23 to 24 tells us, if you bring your gift to the altar and then you remember that your brother has something against you, please leave the gift before the altar. Go back to your brother and reconcile before bringing your gift to the altar. Do you understand? So, what is it trying to say? At times we hurt people, or we know that we are at fault. We decide to avoid that scenario whereby you get to apologize. Then you go to meet God and you tell God, I am sorry for the way I treated this person. You bypass the person to meet God, forgetting that it wasn't God that you were hurting. You were hurting somebody. So you always have to do the first things first. You make peace with your neighbor before going to make peace with God. Why did I start with the forgiven? Because most times when we want to hear about forgiveness, you are already thinking about you forgiving somebody else, forgetting that we all need to be forgiven. So we are done with that. Now let's talk about the forgiver. Why should you forgive someone? I mean, forgiveness is one of the hardest things. So I'm going to tell you 3 reasons why you should. First of all, most times when people hurt you, they do not know what they are doing. They do not know why they are doing what they are doing. It doesn't make sense, right? Okay, so Pharaoh, God hardened the heart of Pharaoh in order for his name to be glorified. So at times, people hurt you because it's time for you to leave that position. It's time for you to be elevated. On the cross of Calvary, Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Because without the crucifixion, there would have been no resurrection. So where would we have been by now? So those people who hurt you, they are objects of your transformation. Now, when they hurt you and you go through that pain and you get healed and you bounce back, you become something greater. So at times your hearts are hardened because there's a greater project that lies ahead waiting for you. Secondly, when you find it difficult to forgive someone, always remember that someone out there is finding it difficult to forgive you. That's why in the Lord's Prayer I said, forgive us our sins, our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. So it's a cycle. So at times when you're trying to forgive, remember that someone is trying to forgive you. It makes it easy because we all have wronged someone. Thirdly, when you forgive someone, you become free. You're no longer in that position where you're about to walk past the person and you're wondering, should I greet him? You're fighting with yourself. You are so free. And it's not for you to decide what is to happen to the person. It's not your fight. All you need to do is forgive, and every other thing will be left for God. We're going to ask for the grace of forgiveness in our hearts, and God will help you. Search deep within yourself, whoever it may be, whatever situation. Please don't forget that we also have to forgive ourselves. May God help us to forgive one another as we strive towards salvation. Thank you, and see you next week. Bye-bye.